what we were speaking about, can somebody say from here last time? Leadership is, yes, ruling. Yes. So I was telling about you are created to lead. So you are created to lead this world, not one another, right? And that, see, if somebody has a potential, if you have created a car, you have created, for example, 183 miles per hour it can go. Let us say you have manufactured it for that, but you put a limit 160 miles per hour it can go. So when you sell it to someone telling that 160 miles per hour, they said the maximum limit is 160, but actually it can go beyond 160. That way many of us can still have lot of things to reach. That's called potential, but we are still lacking in it because we don't know that we have that much potential. Potential is unused energy, unused. That's why many of us do not live significant lives, because we do not know the complete potential that is in us. So that's why, see, for example, this car can run, but the driver knows only it can run this much, but he doesn't know what the manufacturer has put inside, what God has put inside you. He has put the highest potential. You are little lower. He has made you not like, God is so powerful. We are nobody compared to Him. But He has given us, in His all among every creation He has made us as a pinnacle of His creation. Cell in His own image, in His likeness. He is creative. That's why we are creative. He expects love. We expect love. He loves beauty, and He has made, see, if God would have been without any creative, He could have made everything white or black. Why there are so many beautiful butterflies, beautiful colors? He made the world so beautiful, right? That's why the sense of beauty, the sense of love, the sense of morality, holiness, so everything God has put inside us. We are made in His image. We are not from apes. We have not evolved from apes. They are different and we are different. We are totally made in His image. We should be very clear about it. So how many of you think that you are not made in image of God, but image of some apes? Can you lift your hand? Somebody was one school girl, she was listening from her school teacher that God created man with His own hands. So she went and asked her father how I came into existence. He said, you evolved from a monkey. Then she got so confused. She went and asked her mom, Daddy is telling I came from apes, and you always tell that I have come from God. Then how did I come? Your daddy is telling about his ancestor, I am telling about my ancestor. So we should know it. We are who is our ancestor. So now what I wanted to say is this image, this likeness has so much into it, that we are made in the greatest God's image should give us that holiness, should give us that power, that dominion, that stewardship. We will use creation, but we will not exploit it. We are ambassadors. So that is the power of God putting His image in us, putting His likeness in us. So that was the first part of leadership, that we will lead without destroying people, but as God leads. So that is what we are, God's viceroys in this world. And you know, Jesus knew you. This is one more powerful verse. Identity. Why leaders fight, you know? Can every group tell one problems? Like why you feel sometimes leaders are not effective, church or other field, from this group? No reason. Leaders don't fight. Okay, somebody from here. Self-centered, selfishness, ego. Here. Power struggle. Good points. I would say insecurity. All these things stems from insecure. They don't know on whose identity they are. For what reason? Because they feel insecure. They feel power. Somebody will take their power. Why somebody will take their power if God has given? Jesus told, I know where from I have come, I know where will I go. My desire, my meat is to do my Father's will. Nobody will take his position. He is sure of his identity. He was not insecure. Insecurity brings problems in relationship, right? Why a husband sometimes feels jealous of his wife, or wife feels? Because they are insecure inside. They are trying to compare themselves with somebody else. They have to compare. God has made in whose image? His image. For what reason? To glorify him. Sometimes we make a clear divide between secular and sacred. God has told clearly there is no divide between secular and sacred. Why? Whatever you do it all for the glory of God. You eat, you read, that same like how you preach. You might be, all of us, I know that all of you are very powerful leaders, because you are deans and registrars and vice chancellors, pro chancellors, and you are also powerful people, and you are still listening to me. That is simply great, because you know that all of us are self-learners, and again you are not insecure. If somebody teaches, might be it is you are learning a different view. See, here all these things changed my perspective. I was not always this way, but God changed me. So what aspects changed me? That's what I am here to tell you. So here Jesus knew that God has put all things under his power, and he has come from God and is going back to God. So the same thing, can you tell for you? Can you tell what he has given you? If I have to tell for me, Jesus knew, I knew that God has made me as a leader to lead his creation, as a viceroy. I know why he has put me, to give glory to his name. Everything I do for his sake. So my purpose is fixed, my identity is fixed, I am not insecure, I am no less than any human being. Sometimes we give more preference. I am in defense. You know that so much preference you give between the highest level and the lowest level. The lowest level person can't even stand near your highest level person. That is the difference we create in defense. But actually that might be for some reason they might have created, that's for good. But the real thing is, nobody is greater than anyone. Even the lowest person who works on the lathe is so powerful, like the director of that particular lab, because he contributes, if he knows the vision. So God, because he is made in the image of God, you are made in the image of God, your neighbor is made in the image of God. So what you do, your marriage is sacred, neighbor's marriage is also sacred. So you will see to it his marriages are protected. You will not go to that extent of troubling him or do anything which derails him. So that's when comes character. Character, without character, derails your destiny. So that's very, very important. When you know that you are made in the image of God, other person is made in the image of God, you won't control them, you won't manipulate them, you won't trouble them, because you love them, because they are made in the image of God. That's why missionaries should come here and die. It's not for money, it's not for anything, it's for love. That love of God, Paul said that love compels me, right? So that is the motive. When your motive is clear, you will become the greatest leader. So Jesus said, I am not seeking glory for myself. Jesus is God. He's man. He was man. He came in the form of a man, but he's God. But still he said, I seek glory for my Father. And then only 2 commandments Lord gave. Why? One is love the Lord with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. Today, how many of you can say that you love others as yourself? Even I cannot say. It's so difficult, but God can empower us. That's what God has given us, Holy Spirit. So now attitudes. The most important thing in life is attitude, mentality. If you want to hire people, you don't hire for their ability. If whomever, I am in HR, I am the HR head for last 10 years, what we are learning is, If a person can be so intelligent, they have so much aptitude, but they do not have the right attitude, right mentality, he fails. He fails in everything. So that's why Bible says in Philippians 4, always think of noble things, holy things, pure things. And whatever a man thinks, so is he. What is your mind thinking about? Faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. And here Jesus called them, he said that you know that those who are regarded as rulers lord it over them. Other people do it, but what Jesus said? Instead, whomever wants to become great, what they are supposed to do? Should be servants. So he changed everything. In this world, you go and say a leader should become a servant, they laugh. That's why Jesus redefined everything. You are in this world, but out of the world. See, if I am an Indian, I go to a foreign country, I have an Indian passport. I just, same manner, you belong to the kingdom of heaven and you are here as a passers-by. So you bring the values of the kingdom of God. You are his viceroy. So that will make you as a greatest leader. When you know you are his viceroy, you will look at people. Today that nothing else goes also, you write in your mind, this, I am his viceroy, I am his ambassador. So now, see why these three animals I have put, can somebody say? Which group is going to tell? Which group is going to answer? I am going to give more marks, we will see. Why these three animals? No one? 0 for everybody? Bible speaks about mostly about these three animals. Jesus said, I am the Lion of Judah. And Jesus also said eagle. Often Bible you can read eagle. And then the third one is sheep. There is total difference among them in attitudes. You know, a lion, why it's called the king of the jungle? Is it powerful? Is it huge? Does it have intelligence? No, it's not that powerful as compared to so many other animals. It's not huge like elephants. It's not that intelligent as so many other animals. But why? It's because of its attitude. Its attitude of rulership. You know, an elephant is so huge, but a lion can kill it and eat. For a lion, he looks at it as a lunch. A lion looks at an elephant as a lunch because he knows that he is born to rule. That is the way. What is your attitude? Sometimes problems can be huge, but if you have a lion's heart, you will look at it as a lunch. It's easy for God, right? I can do anything. Jeremiah 32:27, I am the God of all flesh. Is there anything difficult for me? With man it's impossible, but with God everything is possible. For you, your problems will look at just a lunch. You can finish it off 1 minute. That's how a lion looks at its prey. So that is the mentality of a lion. What about eagle? Eagle always flies high. It uses the wind that comes as a storm to lift itself. It goes beyond the problems. It flies high. And you know, it glides down and take its prey and goes high. It always stays above everything, and it is a loner. Most of the eagles fly alone. And most of the chickens are in the group. And you know, many times God sometimes allows his prophets to be alone, his prophetesses to be alone. He speaks to them. So sometimes if God has put you alone, don't cry. You take it forward, because that is the way God has designed each one in a different way. He has kept different purpose for different people. And the sheep, there is only one animal in this universe which is dumb, that is sheep. It's only follow, it can never lead. Every animal has a leader. Sheep doesn't have a leader at all. You make a group of sheep, no sheep will lead the other. So sheep are always only followers. That's why if you have Jesus as a leader, it says that you follow him like. But otherwise, this sheep has only the follower attitude. It doesn't have the leader mentality. So now everything is not about aptitude. Somebody said, Zig Ziglar, your aptitude does not determine your altitude. It's your attitude that determines your altitude. So altitude depends on your attitude, not on your more. If it is 80% attitude, only 20% skill or aptitude. So in your anybody is going to climb high, you might have to think that 80% of it is his attitude. Can you hear me, the last row? So what I said, how many percentage? Attitude is how much? 80%. Anything? This is not coming? Okay. Okay. So now that's what I wanted to say. Which one we were talking about, the animals, right? And now if I wanted to say, for example, so many years before, there were two people who were asked to do the flight. Now everywhere you go, we can go in aircraft. Earlier there was no aircraft to take us. So Samuel Pierpont Langley, how many of you have heard about him? Anybody knows the name of Samuel Pierpont Langley? No one? He was given $50,000 to design this flying machine. He got all the Princeton people, all the Harvard people under him. He had the government supporting him. The newspapers were following him. But why he did not develop a flight? Because 100 miles away, Ohio, two brothers, Orville and Wilbur Wright, they had a passion, they had their attitudes, they had only a bicycle shop, they were not educated, they were not married, they had only one passion to develop this flying machine. They just used to have the money from the bicycle shop to make every time little things of this aircraft, they fly, it breaks down, again they will make. So on one day, December 17th, 1903, they took the flight. Nobody was there even to witness them, but they took off. And when Samuel Pierpont Langley heard about it, he could have gone and encouraged them. He never encouraged. He just left the scene, because for him everything was about power, money, it was not about result. So what are you after? If you want to be a leader, lead something, get something, achieve results, you should have the passion, that attitude, that mentality, that thing that I can do anything, it's impossible. And for a person who follows Jesus Christ, it's more easy, because anything is possible for the one who follows the Lord, who follows the one who said nothing is impossible. For us, we get a little fever, little cold, we get so scared. Yesterday night I got my leg suddenly some pain. I got so scared, and I was thinking the one who said, I thought today I cannot walk around. For 1 hour I had severe pain. I thought gone today, but God enabled. That is our God. He can do miracles. How did they become leaders? Who is this lady who is in between two police people? She is called Rosa Parks. How many of you know about Rosa Parks? 1955, December 1. Okay, this lady was sitting in a Montgomery bus. She is a black lady. And a white man came, and the driver asked her to get up, because those days black people were regarded as slaves. You know how it came into existence? Because Greeks thought that what the Greeks were thinking is there are some people who are born leaders, like Plato was thinking. Some people are extroverts, some people are introverts. Some people can talk well, some people cannot talk well, right? So they were thinking that only few people are leaders who can are great orators, who are great communicators, they are all great leaders. Others are slaves. So, and some people have long nose, some people have fair complexion, blue eyes, and all those people are leaders. That is why even if you see Hitler, he says that he had a visitation from God. See, do not believe everybody who says that they have a visitation from God. Joseph Smith said he had a visitation from God. This person said he had a visitation from God to conquer Roman Empire. There are really God visits people, God speaks to people, but we should be very clear in analyzing, because otherwise we will fall for every wrong things. This person, Hitler, thought, and he said that God wanted him to conquer Roman Empire. That is why he went after Europe. So, when he went after Europe, he thought that Jews does not have blue eyes like him. Hitler has blue eyes, but if you read about him, his eyes are so powerfully cold blue, they call. He stare at people and people get they shiver. Some people are fascinated, some people are shiver, some people shiver at his side, but he stare for a long time, that he dominates. He feels that he is so powerful. Some people say he conquered that by white magic or whatever it is, but he had this vision of conquering Europe. That is why he thought Jews are slaves. They have blue eyes, they have everything opposite to him. So, he wanted to punish them, and he killed so many Jews, tortured. And those days Greeks thought that these are the people who are leaders and other people are slaves. That is what, when they went to Africa, those Greeks, they saw all the Africans are black, they did not have any sharp nose, they did not have blue eyes. They thought now they are, God themselves have made them as slaves. Sometimes our theology can be wrong. We need an ideology to correct a theology. Better let us make our theology right. People say one verse from the Bible, they say, take, and they say ladies cannot preach, ladies cannot wear gold, ladies cannot do this, or one word from that they take. Bible has to be interpreted against one another. You cannot take one word. So, same manner here they took that slaves are born slaves, and they understood. Even many Christians in those days kept slaves because of that ideology. So, white people, when they come inside the bus, black has to get up. So, in December 1, 1955, this Rosa Parks was sitting, and a white man came and the driver asked her to get up. She got the guts, she said, no, I am not getting up. They called the police came and they arrested her. That started, they never imagined that will start a greatest civil rights movement. December 5, when she was put on trial in 1955, the whole around 35,000 leaflet went, and 40,000 slaves told boycott bus movement, Montgomery bus movement started. They walked for 183 days, even 20 miles to their workplace, they boycotted. So, that boycott bus movement started that civil rights movement. Now, you can see, and again Martin Luther King took forward, and Martin Luther King in 1963, Washington, he had around 250,000 people showed up to listen to his talk. In that 25% were whites, they were not blacks. Why they showed up? Is it for Martin Luther? No, they believed what he believed. So, if you want people, you should make them to believe what he believed. They believed what he believed. So, he never went around and said this is a 5-step process, we have to do this is the purpose, this is the vision, all these things. He went on telling everybody, I believe, there is no difference between black and whites. People who believed what he believed joined him. And 250,000, they never sent out WhatsApp, they never sent out anything, but they all showed up, and he gave, I have a dream where my children will not be judged for the skin of their color, but the content of their character. He gave a beautiful I have a dream speech, and that day that took forward, and again you now know that Obama and all those people could become even prime minister in that country, president in that place. So, why? Last and recently 2013, they said that Rosa Parks forever stamp was released, and they said that this lady changed the history and changed the fate of the blacks forever. One lady who said that I will not get up, and she has written in her diary, people thought that I told that I will not get up because I was tired. I was not tired physically, I was tired to give in. A leader is born when you are tired to face wrong things. A leader is born when you are ready to face atrocities. A leader is born when you feel that something is going wrong and you have to stand for the right things, what God says. That is the way a leader becomes. And you know Mahatma Gandhi, the man who was so short, he could change the future of our country. He used the same method what is laid out in the Bible, non-violence method. If somebody shows you, hit you on the right cheek, show them the other. He did the non-violent movement and started the nationalist movement. And we are into a freedom. India got his freedom. So why they all changed? Because something made them, something started a passion. There is another way you can become a leader. When you meet your manufacturer. I wanted to give a little of my testimony of my life story. All of us have life story, right? And I have a life story that made me a leader, because there was one point when I met my manufacturer. You know, at one point I was having very low self-esteem. In school days, when my teacher was asking everybody, what do you want to become? Everybody said scientists, teachers, doctors, engineers. I said housewife, because I never believed I will amount to something. It's not that I am interested in cooking or anything. It's that I never thought I can achieve something. And then even when I took a BE with honors, I never imagined I will complete with 75% and I have to take extra electives. I thought I will not do. Because of my father's force, I took it up. And I had that low self-esteem. I cannot look at people on the face, and I used to get so scared. I was fully living in fear. And that was the reason that when I joined DRDO in 87, but I was still feeling that insecurity was there in me. I had low self-esteem. That's what I was thinking, that ladies, people will think that they mugged up and studied. I tried to do PhD in engineering, electronics. I did not get. When I tried in aerospace, I got it. And you know, I had to sit with IIT students of mechanical and aerospace. By God's grace, I could finish with even A grade. So you know, you don't know the potential within you, and that's what you allow people to walk over you. You allow people to tread you down. And what happens at some point, even I love Jesus, but why I am speaking about Bible is I love Jesus, but I have never read his Bible. I have read Psalm 23, Psalm 91, John 14. These are the things, because in my convent school, they asked me to memorize it and tell at one point. And I used to write everywhere, Jesus is my lover. I don't know who is that person, but in depth. So that's what at one, and you know, one point I did not get a child after two abortions. Then I went and sat in a church and I asked God, I want a child like you, and that's all I know to pray. That same day I became pregnant, and I have my two sons. Both of them are in the US, and that way God has blessed me. But still, I did not know this God, and I was walking towards the path of suicide, because I prayed for one prayer request, not for 1 year or 2 years or 5 years. 20 long years I prayed, and I felt God did not answer me. When you feel that God, you go to pastors, you go to prophets and pray, they say that might be some demons are there, might be something is there, might be something you have to fast. You do everything and nothing works out. And for some people everything works out. And some people come in television and other people, and they say that miracles happen for them again and again, for you nothing happens. And you feel so discouraged. And is it God is partial? God is a stepfather for me? I started to believe finally at one point. I understood. Not in my thought I felt that there is no God. I had my fist against God. If you come in front of me, I'll ask why. So that way I was so angry, I was living in mental torment. Next minute, even fear of future, fear of my life, fear of darkness, fear of everything. And towards railway crossing I have walked and have come back because I'm thinking of my little children. And that time I was doing my PhD, I didn't take care of my fever for 4 days. Once my brother, who is a cardiologist, he called me and I couldn't speak. So he said, go and check your ESR. At once they admitted, they said one lung had gone. Then they tried to give antibiotics, other lung also had gone. So that time my brother was a doctor for uncle DGS Dinakaran, and so he called uncle and said, uncle, my sister is dying and they have put her on ventilator. Because I have almost died, people thought that I am died and they may put me on ventilator. But uncle prayed that night and told to my brother, and he said that your sister is not going to die, she'll live. That night in the deathbed, when I was lying down, I felt that somewhere I am falling and some hand caught hold of me. And you know, I used to think I am the best person, because I thought in Bible, whatever you do good, I believed in works gospel, you know, in those days. If you do good, God will do good. So I thought I am doing good, I tried my best. But Bible says no, not even one person is righteous. Your righteousness is like filthy rags. But all my mistakes I have done came in front of me like a movie. I saw the vision of the cross. I saw the blood of Jesus coming and covering it. I heard a crystal clear voice. I am giving you new life. 3 times I heard. And all the 5 days I was there in that ventilator, I felt someone embracing me so tightly. And I felt, I used to take, my hands were tied to both sides of the cot. In that I have written and given in a paper with my one finger that I saw this God. And then I came out, something was telling me, read the Bible. I used to get up at 4:35. My mother has given me a Bible long back. I have written, "Mun Vedathil ulla adisayang like kaanumbadi kannugala thirandharulum," but I have never read it. But that day I started reading. When I started reading, I started singing, you know. I come to the garden alone, and he walks with me, he talks with me and tells me I am his own. He beautifully transformed me in 6 months. You know, in 2004 March it happened. I look much older, much tired those days. God made me much better. I don't have any fear. I don't have any fear of demons or any fear of any darkness, fear of any man. Because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. You look at your manufacturer. Your manufacturer says you can go still have higher speed. I have made you for higher speed. The world may say you are not made for that, but manufacturer says you are made for that. I have put that potential in you. That's what it changed me, you know. And I had to undergo a leg surgery because I went to a gym and broke my meniscus. But I was looking at this word of God those days, and I used to read every day, getting up at 4:30. And the Bible said that Jesus, whomever touched, they were healed. That time again I used to listen to this TV programs, and once even again Uncle Dinakaran was telling to people, your leg is healed and so many other things. And I was looking, when people are getting healed, why can't I get healed? My leg was so much swollen, almost 3 times my knee. So I started meditating on one verse, by his stripes I am healed. And I started meditating on all the lashes which was put on Jesus and the blood flowing from his body. That blood has a power to heal any disease, has a power to cure any curses, has a power to do everything. So when I meditated on the blood, the next day when I had to go for surgery, my swelling vanished and they told no need of surgery. They put that bandage and sent me back home. Praise God. That changed my life, and then I understood God has called me for something greater purpose. That's when I started Master of Divinity. 35 subjects I have to finish, and I became the first distance learning student to finish my Master of Divinity. I think you have Master of Divinity in Southern Asia Bible College and MA Christian Studies, and I did my apologetics training, and I speak for RCAM for some time. I have been speaking, and then I did my counseling, and then I did 4 years research on psychology. Is there any way we can change angry men and women? Is there any way we can protect marriages? Is there any way So that's what born when the flame flickers emerging from marital abuse. So that might be 10% of people who are suffering in that 9 are women and 1 is male. So that's what I wrote for women. The second edition I have written an appendix 2 which is for church. Church is silent on that issue. So that's what I have written. And now then somebody was telling me that you know, when I came out again, I know God has called me for preaching, but wherever I go in any Christian conferences, I see only male leaders predominantly. I was wondering whether God will come and anoint only male and then leave out females or what. Sometimes I was wondering really. Then I understood that Bible is not that way. He has made different people for different purpose. It's not about competition. It's about using your gifts to serve. It's about using the gifts God has given to serve Him only for His glory, not for your glory. That is the ultimate motive. That's when I was thinking, what should I do? Then someone was asking me, might be your pneumonia experience can be a near-death experience. How are you telling that God came to you? How can you believe when you believe in science? How can you believe the spiritual forces? How can you believe that? That's what I wanted to know. Now this last 4 years I did research. I have written this book, Beyond the Boundaries of Science. I have got few copies with me. So this one, if you see the first chapter, you see that how the universe started. Can the whole universe come on its own? Some scientists say that, see, you know, okay, I have just brought few slides on that, because this why I told us, I am telling you is, when I wrote this book, at the end of this book, I became almost leader what God wanted. Why I am telling you? Because two aspects. I understood that the Lord I serve is so powerful. Nothing is difficult for Him. The second one is, there are no accidents in God's universe. Everything happens by His provision. I will explain you using my book, because that's very, very important. That changed my perspective. That made me, when I met my manufacturer, changed me. So this book will give you a different perspective to become a leader, because when you know that nothing is difficult for you, and when you know that you are here in this place, might be thinking that I am in the wrong place or what. Why I am here? Might be you ended up somewhere. No, if God has brought you here, it is for a purpose. It is for a reason. You have to contribute something for the society. Some other gift is there in you. So that's what I wanted to explain you through my book. Within 15 minutes, 10 minutes I will explain. See, when you look through this telescope, I will go ahead 10 minutes. So when you look through this, there are so many Hubble Space Telescopes, Spitzer's telescopes that are going around in this space, right? Now people are, even they captured a black hole. How many of you know about this black hole? Have read the paper? Okay, good. So what you read, can somebody tell? Let us make it interactive.
So it's a collapsed star.
Yeah, black hole. What is a black hole? It's a star that has died. Star, when it dies, some of the supergiant stars, there are many types of stars, it becomes a black hole. When this black hole was pictured, people started calling me and asking, that means your Bible is wrong. People are telling the black holes were because of a 12 billion years again, far back. Your Bible says, who said my Bible is wrong? I was explaining them. So when this black hole picture came, you know how many people started sending WhatsApp messages against it. So that's what I wanted to explain you. It is, you know, this black hole is what? It has a very great gravitational pull that it sucks everything around it. Even my book I have written, this is a black hole. Light also cannot escape from it, because that's why you can see the path of the light bent around it. And why we are not sucked into it? It is 12,000 light years away from us. Do you know what is the speed of light? 186,000 miles per second. You know, 1 second light goes around our earth 7.5 times. How much time you need to go around the earth in the fastest flight? In 1 second, you imagine light goes 7.5 times. That is the speed of light. So now this black hole is 12,000 years away in the Milky Way galaxy. So now I will using these telescopes, they could not, why they did now? The telescopes could not capture that black hole. They wanted an Earth-sized telescope. So they kept telescope at different corners of the Earth and they integrated. They called it as Event Horizon Telescope. And they had to process billions and terabytes of data. And the terabytes of data was processed, and then this telescope's information went, and finally they captured the black hole, which was earlier only in some movies and others. So this black hole shows that the Earth is, they believe that it is so many billion years back. Then what about Bible? You can see in my book, the last 8th chapter, I have given how the sequence of the Bible. First day God said, let there be light. What God said. Third day what God said. Everything is exactly fulfilled. I have brought in a new model called revelation model. There are two types of people who say, some group called young earth creationists. They say everything came in 6,000. Some group say older. They say everything came in 14 billion years. Some group, even Christian groups, say we all evolved from a bacteria. So even Christians, it's called theistic evolutionists, they call themselves. So among them they fight. So this model of my book, it shows that it's not about the age of the earth. When God can open the Red Sea, when God can do anything, it can be a miracle or it can be a natural process. God can do either through a miracle or either through a natural process. I'm no one to question it. When it is false with a natural process, I will accept it. But when God's word say He has made me in His own image, I'm nobody to tell that I'm evolved from something else. And you know, the scientifically, it is clearly proved that we cannot be evolved. I have given in my 3rd chapter so many references. I have used Nature, Scientific American, their own journals to show that how it contradicts with one another. Their theories have lot of gaps. There are so many transitional fossils, they say, but nothing is found. Even the age of the strata, how you find out when the fossils are formed, nothing is, and the tree of life is now in tatters. So even they say that now it is not a tree, it's a bunch. So and then you evolve from chimps. Chimps have totally different social capacity. Have you seen any two chimps holding a wood and walking around? No, they don't have morality. How something came from nothing, how reason came from non-reason, how morality came from non-morality, how life came from non-life. There is 4 questions. Can you repeat? How something came from nothing, how life came from non-life, how reason came from non-reason, how morality came from non-morality. These 4 questions no one can answer unless you posit a supernatural creator and say, in the beginning God made heaven and earth. And you know, it's not about God says evening and morning in the 1st chapter. It is not about number of days. It is about each day God is revealing different part of His creation to His servant. It's about a revelation. See, whatever world is going to end in the last chapter, God has to reveal. How the world was created, God has to reveal. You were not there to write down in 6 days. So it should be a revelation or it should be in dreams. That's what my model says. So first 1 chapter I have shown how the universe started. Is there any people, you know, again it will be very interesting. I will show you first this one. You know, this, what is this one? Solar system. How many planets? Can you tell me? I am going to name out people now. Huh? So 8 or 9? 8. There is no 9th planet now. Pluto has become a, what has become now? Can somebody answer now? What is Pluto? It has vanished? Dwarf planet. Pluto, they have told it's no more a planet. It has not met the criteria. It's a dwarf planet. So now you see this Earth to Sun, you call it as one astronomical unit, Sun to that Pluto is 40. So that much distance our solar system is huge. Now this Earth size I have put here, our Sun size is so huge, Earth size is so small. The size of the Earth, if it is little bigger, life cannot exist. The size of the Sun, if it is little smaller, the Sun cannot have elements, or Sun will be too hot. Each and everything is finely designed. That is why my book was reviewed by Seattle in US. They have an intelligent design group. They are not Christians. They are all scientists from Harvard, Princeton and other laboratories. They say that evolution is false. There is an intelligent designer. He need not be, they do not know about who is the designer, but there is an intelligent designer. So they wanted to teach in US schools now, along with evolution, you teach intelligent design movement. You go to the net and put intelligent design movement, you will get it. One microbiologist and physicist reviewed my book. That is why they have recommended this book. So that is why it is published in the US also. So here this design of our universe, design of our planet, even atheist scientists are so confused. No, the universe is expanding, right? The expansion is accelerating, it is increasing. And Stephen Hawking said the rate of expansion of the universe, when it expanded, why it expanded in the critical rate? Even now, so many billion years later, it is still expanding. If that rate of expansion, 1 second after the first Big Bang, smaller by 1 part in 110 million, it would have whole crumbled. What is it that breathes fire into that equation? Atheist scientists are having a question mark. What is it? They do not want to put God into it, but they are questioning it. Even Sir Frederick Hoyle, he is an atheist. He says that some super intellect has monkeyed with physics, chemistry and biology. He is thinking how the laws of physics, you know, you have how many fundamental laws of force, fundamental forces of nature? Electromagnetic force, gravitational force, strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force. If all these forces, if it would have been smaller by little, the whole universe would have crumbled instead of expanding. The forces are standing. What makes it to stand on the knife edge? The universe is standing on the knife edge of its existence. That is what this Earth size and the mass and the right position, you know. Now let me take you to the size. This is a Milky Way galaxy. If I have to go from one end to the galaxy to the other end, it takes 100,000 years if I travel with the speed of light. Now think, speed of light is, I have told how it is. It needs 100,000 years to travel. And you know, in this Milky Way galaxy, this is located at correct point. I will explain in the next slide. Now, if our solar system is not positioned in we have 4 arms in this Milky Way galaxy. Our solar system is located into the inner rim of the Orion arm, minor arm. If it is located anywhere else, like black holes and supergiant stars are so much residing and you cannot exist. If it is away, there is no chance of elements. So who positioned it? That is why in the second day God says, let there be firmaments. He made protective layers, He made planned out each and everything. There are so many layers above our earth, troposphere, mesosphere. Mesosphere, what is its reason? It stops meteors from hitting us. Why are global warming? How many of you know about global warming? Good. Global warming is very green technology. I go and speak about green technology. It is very, very important. We are spoiling our planet. God has made a beautiful greenhouse effect to keep the temperature of our planet at the right temperature. And we send out CFC and others and spoil it. Ozone layer to protect us from UV rays. And we again spoil it. Ozone hole has happened. And so many protections. Why? And you know, even the size of the Jupiter at the right place, the size, if it is not that way, any meteor hitting the earth has to hit the Jupiter first. 1997, one Levi, that meteor hit the Jupiter. It took a chunk of Jupiter's mass out of it. If it would have hit the Earth, the same pollution would have killed all of us. So who made it? Who designed it? How everything is so beautifully designed. So now the size, see now this whole Milky Way is located inside a Virgo cluster. This Virgo cluster is so huge, light takes 48 million years to come to us from one end. Again this Virgo cluster is located inside a Laniakea supercluster. Now imagine how many galaxies it should be. Like this superclusters, 10 million superclusters are there in the observable universe. Now think, the God who made this huge universe and who holds it, how powerful he should be, how great he should be. Can you fathom it? Are you able to grasp it? So now this is I have tried to put it in a single slide. So this understanding brought me to the conclusion that my God is so big. My problems are nothing compared to the great God, right? How much, now you tell me, how much is your problem size? Can someone demonstrate compared to that big God? You can't even look through the microscope, right? So if somebody should so that will, now we don't complain about in our, see we are all dealing with people in leadership. We will have complaints with people, but all those problems are nothing compared to our God. He is able, tell it out. Can you tell to your neighbor, my God is able? Okay. So this is the way, see the first time when let there be light, first thing that happened is when the Big Bang started 380,000 years later, the first thing what happened is light photons came out. How people understood. 1967, some 3 scientists were looking to the antennas and they found instead of getting their signal, they got noise from everywhere around the universe. They were wondering what happened. Then they understood it's microwave background radiation. That means that light that was emitted 14 billion years back has shifted from light frequency to microwave frequency. Now you can see around, if you have a microwave eyes, you can see that relic radiation of the first light. So with that they are able to find the first thing that happened was light. And then the stars happened, third generation stars. First generation, second generation, third generation, the stars died and then the next stars happened with more elements. So our sun is a third generation star with full of elements. That's why life can exist. The first stars which formed was having only hydrogen and helium. So now this is the habitable zone. The Earth is in the right place in our solar system. If it is little closer like Venus, or little away like Mars, then there is no chance that life can exist, because the water is liquid only in Earth, and even the right amount of atmospheres. Everything is there in this particular planet. It's called habitable zone. And people are searching for terrestrial life. They thought that some aliens will be there, they'll come and kill us, and that's why they thought in Voyager 1, which was sent across the interplanetary space, they put them gramophone and they sent it, and they thought that some aliens will look into it and find that people in this world will be like this. One person, even when they were sending a Voyager, he was so angry, you are sending about us information to somebody else, they will really find out and come and kill us. He was fighting with them. So that Voyager 1 had gone now beyond Neptune, beyond everything, and still now our voice is loud. They have never found anybody. 3,500 exoplanets, planets which is rounding a sun has been found, but no life has been found. Jupiter, it's as a planet called Europa. No life is there. They thought there is an ocean. So NASA has sent out so many Europa missions. Still now life has not been found. And so people have to tell now, the life came from somewhere else. Some spaceship brought life and seeded the earth. Miller-Urey is gone wrong. Miller-Urey earlier you might have studied, but it has been proved false. So first life, how it came, you can read in depth in my book. It is impossible. So now they have to bring in a theory called panspermia. Somewhere else life came and seeded our earth. So everything, life from non-life, something from nothing, reason from non-reason, morality from non-morality is impossible. And you know, this is the reason I said, even the proton to neutron ratio, if it would have been changed by little, life cannot exist. That's why atheist scientists started to tell, okay, there might be multi-universes, and one universe everything is proper. But even if there are so many universes, who created it? So now we are not the product of apes, because apes have some chromosomes which are totally 23 and we have 24, and how it fused, they were giving some understanding. But I have clearly given in my book what are the theories that contradict it. And you know, the final event is this also gave me a lot of confidence, resurrection. Bible says, if Christ is not risen, our preaching is vain, our faith is vain, we will live in sin, we will live a miserable life. Continuously it is giving again and again. You know, we have a God who lives. We don't serve a dead God. His tomb is still opened. And you know, so many people went to disprove resurrection. And resurrection, so you cannot prove the universe that Jesus created. You cannot prove the life that Jesus created. But you can prove this, because resurrection is provable. People went forward, and you know, so many, you go to the net, because there is no time, I am not going into it, but in my book I have given. There are more than 10 references to show that Jesus Christ was resurrection can be proved. And Frank Morrison wanted to disprove this resurrection. He went to write a book, but the stone, instead of falling the other side, fell the other side, and he wrote the book, Who Moved the Stone, telling that he became a Christian. And same manner, so many people who went to disprove resurrection. So what I felt is, you know, there are so many dimensions scientists say they exist when you do mathematics. It can be 10 or it can be 26, but even if there are so many dimensions, the higher dimensional being can look at us, we cannot look at them. So even if a higher dimensional being is here, they can look at us, they can do anything, but we cannot look at them. That's what might be, God would have provided, some angels can be in a different being, but God is above everything. So there is no need for us to worry about any of those spiritual beings, or even worry about something will happen to us, because God is above everything and He controls everything. He is alive. So that should give us leadership. So that made me my insecurity to go. Why you are insecure? Because you are comparing with others, right? When you compare with God, He is alive, He is living in you, He is living out His life through you. When people look at you, they wanted to see Jesus through you. How, if I walk around with, put on Christ. Paul said, put on Christ. He's telling, like how you are wearing your clothes, put on Christ. So when people look at us, will they be able to look Christ into us? So other than, like, all of us can meet our manufacturer at some point. These two people met their manufacturer and it changed their lives. You know about Gideon? He was so scared. He was feared. Midianites will come and take his food away, and he was hiding. And there God comes. Mr. Gideon, good evening. What are you doing? Why are you hiding? And he looked at him and said, you are not a normal man. You are a mighty man of valor. Today might be God is telling you, you are not a follower. You are a great leader who will make leaders. So that is the way, when you meet your manufacturer, you will know your capacity. Right? So can somebody tell, anybody has met your manufacturer, any stories are there? It will be good to listen. This table, that last, so in Bible, who else met their manufacturer and changed? Moses. You know, Moses was, his father-in-law said, employed him. He was thinking that I'm an employee, and God said, no, you are a leader. He said, no, it's not it's impossible. I am a man of stuttered lips. I cannot speak. I cannot lead. God said, it is possible because I put it inside you. You have the potential. You have to just release it. They know the day you know the truth will set you free. You know, it is so difficult. When you come out of Egypt, it is deliverance. When Egypt goes out of you, it is freedom. Even though sometimes we come out of Egypt, we hold the Egypt within us. That's what binds us. So you come out of Egypt, that is deliverance, and Egypt goes out of you, it is freedom. Moses ran away and he was living an insignificant life for 40 long years. Might be today somebody of you might be thinking, I am living an insignificant life. Nothing matters. Nobody knows where am I. Nobody bothers about me. But God is telling, no, you are a significant person. I have some purpose in your life. You are made to be a leader. You are supposed to lead. You are supposed to do great things. That's what He has put in potential within you. Moses, he met. And you know, the man who was nobody hid the Egyptians' newspapers, the front pages of the Egyptian newspapers for quite some time. He changed the destiny of the Pharaoh. He could do so many miracle after miracle. God used that nobody who said that he wanted to be an employee to his father-in-law. He made him as the greatest leader because he met his manufacturer. He knew. He became a prayerful man. He became a man who could talk to God, who can listen to God. He was with him 40 long days. Maybe one of those days God would have revealed to him how the creation started, and all the 5 books of he has written. In those days he might have 6 continuous days, he might have been revealed how the light started, how he started the firmaments, how he created the human beings. Moses would have got so thrilled. And you know, Moses is a person who developed leaders. Joshua. See, people don't like to pass on the baton. You become a leader, you want to hold on to your position, title all the time because you are insecure. Pass on the baton. Train somebody. You know, if you are a leader and you develop followers, might be your company will get some advantage. But if you develop leaders, you will have an explosive growth. Even in church, if you are a preacher, develop preachers. Don't be insecure that your position will go. Because if you develop preachers, God's kingdom will grow. What is your purpose? Is it your kingdom or God's kingdom? All the time we have to put that into our perspective. The purpose, that's very, very, very important. That's why I said purpose births conviction. That conviction births passion. Because of that you are disciplining yourself, and then you birth vision. That vision gives rise to inspiration. Inspiration gives rise to leadership. You become a leader and you do mighty things. Why some people could do, why Moses could do? He was a man of prayer. He was a man. His father-in-law once comes and gives him beautiful advice. Don't micromanage. You be a leader. You are going and micromanaging each and everybody's problems you are trying to solve. Develop leaders. Put them as a head for each one. Let them empower them. Let them lead. You are supposed to lead the whole thing. You are supposed to be with God. Sometimes we don't spend our time with our God and we spend our time fighting with our children. Might be we might have to spend more time with our God to get to know how to lead our children, how to lead our family, how to lead our church, how to lead our institution. Today might be, there should be a change in your mentality. And this year you should see a great change in this institution. All of you, that's what my hope. Because Moses, when you meet your manufacturer, when will you meet? Get up early morning. Early morning, early seekers God wants. Those who seek me, they will find me. God is not hidden. Sometimes we think, God, why you hide yourself? But God says, those who seek me, they will find me. Because we are not seeking, we are not finding Him. You know, and excellence is a quality of God. He wants to make everything excellent, which is something beyond. You know that Pablo Picasso's wordings I like. Once he said, my mother told that if you are a soldier, you become a general. If you are a monk, you become the Pope. I ended up as a painter and I became Pablo Picasso. So whatever you are, be the best. You are a biology teacher, become the best teacher. You are a chemistry professor, become the best one. Whatever you can contribute to the world, you do with excellence. And that's what excellence is. How will you become excellent? When you do the small things. It's very, very interesting. Don't be afraid to give your best to what seemingly are small jobs. But every time you conquer one, it will make you stronger. Might be some child in your class is not that so is troubling you. Every time you conquer that particular thing, you will become more stronger. You will be able to impact. You know, I remember a story. One person, he became so, I don't know I forgot his name. He became so great, but he was dumb person earlier. Then he showed his teacher's writing that you are going to become a great person. She has written and given. That inspired him. Even Thomas Alva Edison. What did he do? What did Thomas Alva Edison do? What happened today? Can you tell me what happened, Thomas Alva Edison? Huh? Light bulb. So how many times he failed? Yes, that all of you know good. So he failed. So he said that I have not failed 1,000 times. I have learned 1,000 times how to make a different way of the bulb. Why he did, you know, when he was young, his teacher called his mother and said, your child can never study in this college. He is Buddhu, he cannot do, he is not that intelligent, you take his child back. She wrote and sent. So when his mother went home, she had that letter. So Thomas Alva Edison asked his mother, what is that in that letter? What she told, you know, your teacher said, you are so intelligent, they are unable to teach you. So they are telling me to teach you, because your intelligence they are not able to cope up with. So that later he also thought that same, and that too she tutored him. And later when she died, he took the paper and he started crying. You know, that is the way you inspire people. It's one word of her mother. That same thing is she changed and told it. How many of us call our children with different names? We have to tell our children are great because they are made in the image of God. Everything starts from that principle. You know, then the small things, Helen Keller, I long to accomplish. All of us like to become the Prime Minister and President, right? But it is a chief duty of us to do a small things as though they are great. And this is a beautiful prayer. Lord, help me to do great things as though they are little, since I do them with your power. Can all of you repeat this one? It's a very important. Everybody's voice I should hear. Lord, help me to do great things as though they were little, since I do them with your power, and little things as though they were great, since I do them in your name. It's a very beautiful prayer. And you know, when we do like this, we will live a life of excellence. This is it's very beautiful one. What do you mean by excellence? If a person goes, Jesus said, if somebody asks you to come 1 mile, you go extra mile. If somebody asks you one tunic, you give him much better. If somebody asks you this one, you give him much better. Why? Because you know, in Bible there is a story about Rebecca. Rebecca, who is Rebecca? Yeah. So Isaac's wife, how did he get him? He sent his servant, right? The servant will go and Rebecca will come and tell him in Genesis 24:19, I will pour water for you and also pour water for camels. How much camels will drink water, you know? How much gallons? And this huge set of camels, one little girl going and pouring little water come. 2 hours she should run and get water for all the camels. So, if somebody comes and asks you, give me water, someone tells 1 minute instead of giving, I'll come and give you 2 to 3 hours water, then you think about that girl's mentality. That's what she became, the great grandmother of Jesus Christ. So, when you go your extra mile, God will bless you, because that is the principle of Bible. You know that are they born? See, how would you tell leaders? How would you call people as leaders? Those who are powerful, those who are having intelligence, those who are having money, or those who are born. In those days, as I said, great man theory. Whose example I gave? I spoke about great man theory some time back, no? Hitler. Good. So that means I am able to reach out to all of you. So Hitler, that's what I told about blue-eyed Hitler. Cold blue eyes of Hitler staring. So hope I am not staring and making you. So Hitler's stare was like that because he believed that black-eyed people are slaves. So they believed that great men are born. They are having the traits in their birth. When they come out of their mother's womb itself, they have their traits. So, but actually leaders are developed. Some people have the traits, some of the traits, but you can develop it. So this person, you know, Paul von Hindenburg, he was the first chancellor of Germany. In World War I, see, you know, you can see here, if a person is bright, he will make him a field commander. When we have an army captain here, he will be knowing if a person is bright, he will have make him a field commander. If a person is lazy, he will make him a staff officer or just leave him. If a person is energetic, he will put him as a frontline soldier. So like that, he will see based on his energy level and others, he will give works. So that was the way earlier people did based on the trait. But how did Joseph become a leader? All of you might be knowing Joseph. Joseph, God allowed through tribulations. Sometimes God puts problem after problem in people's life. When I was going through my problems in 20 long years, I was telling God, why me, why me? But I didn't understand. Why me, Lord? You love me so much. You allowed me to go through. So that why me, instead of thinking why me for this, why me, Lord? You love so much. If you turn it around, you will become a leader. So that is the way. See, Joseph, he lost his mother. He was with his father, and his brothers were jealous on him, and they put him in a pit, and he was sold. And finally one day he had to again run away for his conviction. He had self-discipline. He was having a strong conviction. That's what, when he became a leader in the Pharaoh's court, he was able to, you did it for evil, but God turned everything for good. So that is the way leaders are born. He gave 100%. His secret is one thing. He gave 100%. He was a 100%er. When he was, you can read, when he was in prison, God was with him. When he was getting seduced, God was with him. When he was in the pit, God was with him. Every time you can read again and again, God was with him, God was with him. But he was giving 100% in everything. That's why the one under whom he is there, he got favor in their eyes. When you are liked by your chancellor or whomever it is, why? Because you are excellent. You are doing much greater work, so the people will like it, or whomever it is. It is if in a right environment, if we are 100%, if we are excellent, if God is with us, we will be liked and loved, and we are giving. So leaders are born or developed? Developed. So now Today you will become leaders means what you will become? First I said my aim is to make leaders as change agents. Good. Followers as leaders. So you decide today you are a follower or a leader. So now charisma versus character. So a character,
Whether Joseph was developed or he has got some inborn skills to dream something.
he had a vision, he had a dream, but he followed up with a vision. You think that some people have more antennas, I say, bigger antennas. All of us have antennas to listen to the spiritual world. I believe like that. Some people are prophets because they might be spending more time with the Lord and their antennas might have become more sharper. See, a mother's voice, how a child will hear. If I am, for example, you are a mother, you have some 40 child and your child is crying, you can listen to that voice and run, right? And my mother, we are 7 of us. My mother, when she calls Ladama something, whatever it is, her voice I can remember. Because why I am all the time in tune with that voice. So when your antenna becomes more, when you are in tune with your person, might be Joseph would have had a connection with his God and God would have given him vision and he was, we are not knowing about it, but he was a person not like his brothers. He was totally different from the beginning. So sometimes we have seen many children from the beginning, they are closer to God and they are, and sometimes basically inborn, some people have more prophetic skills. See, God doesn't make everybody prophets. That doesn't mean prophets are great, the others are less. Some people he made teachers, some people he made prophets, some people preachers, some people as educators. So everybody have different skills. So might be Joseph had a different skill, listening skill or prophetic skill he had. So that cannot make you a leader. Your skill cannot make unless you use it. You use your, see, leadership is about development of your skill. It's not about grabbing something else. It is about becoming. I said that leadership is about becoming. It's about you understand what is your skill. Today, can you write down during lunchtime what's your skill? You are good at what? And then come and discuss with your people in your group, because that's very, very important. Today when he asked me the question, Joseph had that skill. He had the skill of listening more to the visions, to the dreams, and you know, even Daniel had that. Daniel could listen, and Daniel was closer to God. He did the morning, evening, afternoon. He was kneeling down. What made him to get that, we don't know, but certainly he was closer to God. That would have given him. And you know, there are so many other witches and witchcrafts are going on. They are also able to sometimes do miracles. They are also able to tell the future. It's not that. Then what makes you the right person? It is like counterfeits are there. Counterfeits can only counterfeits cannot become the original. God gives the original things, but Satan counterfeits always the original. Whatever God's vision is a prophetic thing, but many false prophets have arisen because Satan makes counterfeits and he makes them. See, one lady was telling she was possessed and she started telling all prophecies and about the people, and she started healing also, she was telling. And one day when she was going to die, somebody prayed and she became now a church pastor. She is pastoring a church, and she was telling her testimony that she was possessed, and she was telling all the things about people. So we don't know much about spiritual world. I believe that they are in a higher dimension. And instead of getting related to spiritual beings, if you get related to God and to the word of God and meditate on the word of God, you will get the right direction and the right dreams and the right visions. So it's very, very important in this world when so many people are talking about satanic churches, so many other things. It's better you be strong in the word. You will be able, like Bereans, Acts chapter, you will read about Bereans. That Bereans question. If somebody comes and preaches, somebody comes and tells you wrong doctrine, when you are strong in the word of God, you will know that this is a wrong doctrine. So Joseph became a leader not because of his skill, but because it is a discipline. Every day he was having a discipline of not, he drew a line of resistance. That this Potiphar's wife, when she came and seduced him, he drew a clear line of resistance. He knew that he was a slave. He knew that he can be put in prison, but still he stood strong. His convictions were so strong that he was even ready to die for his conviction's sake. That made him a leader. So he wanted to be holy. Be holy as I am holy, Jesus said. And when he was holy, he became a leader on his own. With charisma or character, your talents, your skills, your charisma can take you forward, but character can keep you there. If you don't have discipline, it can derail your destiny. That happened to Samson. He did not have his character. About everything, foundation of leadership is character. Can you repeat? The foundation of leadership is character. What is character? You are the same in your private and in the public. You will speak the same in your private and in the public. That's very, very important. You see, when your thoughts, when your words, when your actions are different. See, sometimes people, you ask their intimate people, their wives or husbands or children, they know what this person is about, but their parishes will not be knowing, their children, their college people will not be knowing. Your intimate people will know, your own self will know. God sees the motives. That's why Bible says, somebody said that Saul was so strong, right? But God rejected him and he chose David. Because God sees the man of which is inside. So that's character is so important. Character. So can you repeat this? Character. A loss of character derails your destiny. Derails your destiny. Because you have a great destiny. Samson had a great destiny. He was supposed to become a judge. He was supposed to become a great person. But everything got derailed. He got into lust. He got into all these wrong things. And it derailed his testimony. How many people, you know, a big oak, when it falls, the oak not only falls, it also kills all the little plants. You see so many big ministries, they've fallen because of lust. In the US, so many people you can see, a big group, and the greatest leader will fall. The whole church goes. Because it not only the leaders fall, along with them, so many people get, okay, that is no use. So that's very, very important. You derail not only your destiny, many others' destiny. If you are a follower of Christ, it's so important to follow his truth. It's so important. Because Samson was a great leader and he derailed his testimony because of his lust. And you know Daniel, first time, every time he will write, he will draw a line of resistance. First he was asked to eat the Europeans' food, right? He told no. And then he was told not to pray 3 times. He prayed. That even he knew that he was going to the extent of the lion's den. He prayed. He was strong in his conviction. His conviction was able to take him even up to death. That's why 3 kings, his line was here. He did not pass to the other side. But all the 3 kings passed the line and came to his side. Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar, Cyprus, everybody acknowledged Daniel. When you are a man of character, when you are an excellent person, he was giving 100% to whatever he did. He was strong. If you are strong in your skill, if you are strong in your character, your leader will come to you and lift you up. We all the time gossip, we talk negative about our leaders sometimes because we don't give 100%. We are not developing our skills. We become sometimes dead loads. and we just blame them. Sometimes, most of the time in government organization it happens. It is because you are not giving 100%, you are not developing excellent things, and you are not closer to God. So very, very important. Leadership needs discipline. Then what else? Words, let us speak now. Leadership needs discipline, conviction, character. What else? Passion, influence, vision, inspiration, passion we said, conviction we said, impact. You develop others. Purpose. Everything starts from the purpose. So good, all of you understood most of the things. So till this time. So any other question for 5 minutes? Just think of some questions to ask me. What? No questions? At least somebody asked me one question about what? Daniel, Joseph. So, Nehemiah. Nehemiah was a visionary leader. What do you mean by visionary leader? There are many types of leaders. Visionary leader will cast vision and will make everybody to work for that vision. It's not only you work, you make the whole. See, I said, Martin Luther King said, I believe, and people who are believing in his vision, they all joined. So now his vision is to build the wall. So his vision is to build the wall. So he had that purpose inside him. As I said, the leadership, that line. Bottom is, what is the bottommost? Purpose. His purpose is people are, his wall is broken. So he cried, he was praying, and then he went and asked his king. So that when the king comes, he goes and just inspires many people to follow him. And he gives laid out procedures for everybody. You do this wall, you do that, you do this, you do this. He gives beautiful directions, right? And when the wall comes, he knows how to put down negative. When you want to carry out something, there are a lot of people to pull you down. To tell it is impossible. This is impossible. But so many people were pulling him down. He put out every other voices. And he became the visionary leader. So visionary leader should have a vision. He should cast out vision. And he should motivate people to do the vision with interest, with love. Why will you do something work? So now all of you are supposed to teach, right? Do you love it? Are you doing it for somebody's sake, for money's sake? Or you have a vision in your mind. I have to contribute something to the society. When I teach, when I spend time with these children, I am going to invest in their life. Someday, even I might not be there. Someday, it will give fruit. That is the vision. He built the wall. You are building their life. So that is important. Vision and is very, very important in everybody's life. The wall was just finished in 52 days' time. Even though so many Sanballat and other people were opposing him, he could finish it. He is a visionary leader. So have you heard about Steve Jobs? So he made Apple, right? So people said it was so fun to work with him because he inspired everybody. Why? He said, once he was making this iPad, when somebody made it first time and brought it to him, he said that they made everything outside beautiful. He looked at inside. Inside has to be made more beautiful. When I look at it, tears should come from my eyes, he said. Then they asked him, why everybody will look at outside? Why you want to see inside? He told them a story that when he was young, his father asked him to paint the house. So he painted nicely outside and came and told his father that I painted it. So his father said, still it's not over. You didn't paint it inside. He said, who is going to look inside? We are looking into it. So that's what inspired him. He became the greatest inspirational leader who inspires everything. Inspiration brings out influences. So he inspired. Steve Jobs was an inspirational leader, and he was a person who did not have money to even study. He was lying, he was in a hotel, he was lying down, he was sleeping down. So from that he rose to this position and he became an inspirational leader. Huh?
He inspired Tim Cook, and he had taken it to the next level.
Yes. So he inspired, what he was telling is a great point. He inspired another person. He made, when yours, see the thing is, a leader's inspiration is when you leave that position, whether the other person is able to do greater than what you are doing. Jesus said one word, the works that I do, you will do, and even greater than this, you shall do it. That is the way. When you go out, you should never think that area, it will be remaining empty. You should make sure that somebody will take over. Somebody will take it much better than what you have taken, and you will feel proud about it. You will never feel insecure. That is an inspirational leader. Give. My son, when he was in medical college, he all the time teaches others. Once when I asked, you are not at all studying, you are all the time teaching. On the phone, at least he will call someone and teach. I am better studying by teaching, he used to tell me. So sometimes it's better when you are teaching others, when you are inspiring others, when you are giving to others, you get something much better. How much more time? 5 more minutes, okay. So now, this I have already said. Can you repeat that once again? What you are going to tell to the next person? Make me feel important. So now, can you find out what he likes to tell about you? What you want, how can he tell so that you will become important? So next time when you look at someone, make me feel important, the other person is telling indirectly means, morning you will wish him and say, hey, you are looking so great, today you are going to do great things. Something you will tell so that they will feel great, your sari is good, your dress is good, something, your children have got good marks, whatever it is, he is laughing, they will scold him or what like. So what I am telling is, it's always good to encourage people. It's always, if your students come out with one better solution to some problem, you encourage them, they will go and do much better. So any lab if you are doing, anywhere you inspire, you encourage. That's very, very important. How many of you feel that encourage, this I am going, okay. So with this, Anita, I think it's over, no? Otherwise it will take. So now the last message I want to leave is encourage one another, appreciate one another. A good leader will appreciate, will always encourage, will always influence. As I said once, what is charisma? Charisma is making others to love you, because when you enter, a person who is charismatic, it's not about your looks, it's not about your personality. It is about when they enter a room, everybody will feel so happy because he is going to contribute something to them. They will feel that he is going to come, hey, you are great, you are this, doing this, something you tell great about them. They will feel, okay, next time you feel like talking to that person, he is telling that I am good, so I will go and talk to that person. Indirectly, you make the others look better. You make the others feel better about themselves. That is a charismatic person. That is a person who is liked by everybody. And if you are a leader and you say, leaders say that it's so lonely at the top. Who wants you to be at the top? Go down, touch people, be with people. That is a leader. Leader is no need to be alone at the top. Leader has to be with the people. Leader connects to the people, like train connects with one another. You connect with one another, you appreciate one another, you inspire one another. It's about a rail race. You go together. If one person goes and wins, the other person joins. It's not about single person winning, it's about a team winning. That is the way we can change the world. So let us join together and change your institution and your world for the better. Thank you.